Apparently, top 5 global banks are now onboarded to use XRP through Volante. And while that all is pretty interesting and happening, we've got a very interesting article here. Ripple CTO a little bit ago has stated when the tokenization on the XRP ledger will actually start taking place. We're talking about real world assets coming onto the XRP ledger. Many have speculated that that's the big reason the price would increase, but we'll talk about that a little bit further in this video. At the same time, we've got an interesting debate about one of the co-founders of Ethereum, Mr. Vitalik here. It's got some, well, we've just got an interesting story about that, so I'd say just sit tight and enjoy the show with that regard. But first of all, Ripple's legal chief calls for rational crypto regulation, urges the US to stop elevating politics over sound policy. Because I won't stick with this for too long, but the baseline is this. We need to stop elevating politics over sound policy in the US, and look to the way that Singapore, the UK, even though it's shitty, at least it's something, right? The EU through MiCA and Dubai have set clear frameworks and licenses. And right now, I think Australia just came out that they want cryptocurrency exchanges to go and apply for proper licenses as well. No wonder crypto innovation is thriving in these regions. Again, I can't fully agree because places like the UK, they're not necessarily forward moving, they're just putting a line down. And a lot of you guys send me emails almost every day saying, Dusty, it's all really manipulation from the higher up part. They want it to be vague. Even today, I had an email that we'll be covering tomorrow. I think it's, we've got an interesting story there. I might even cover it later today. Let's see. My point just is that it doesn't really make sense for this agency to keep everything vague unless something shady was going on in the background. And, well, we can only say this about it, you know? They, for some reason, want to make it sound like every crypto is completely different in the baseline and should be fought in court separately, when in reality, with regards to these traditional securities, which Gary Gensler likes to kind of compare them to, it's not really necessary because most of the securities have some similar gold line, or red line, I should say. Even though he won it in court, we don't think this issue should be fought token by token, case by case, judge by judge. I think we need a rational regulatory framework because at the end of the day, even if you want to compare them with securities, there's security law. I mean, there's a baseline for what is and what is not allowed. The crypto people say, cryptos don't really fall in that bracket, so sit down, write a proper regulatory framework, things are easy. But for some reason, people like to say yes on one end, but do no on the actual front or the end. And a good example of that is Vitalik. I mean, Vitalik, if you don't know, is the co-founder of Ethereum, and he seems to be a little bit obsessed with XRP and Ripple. He writes a lot about it, and right now there's a little ongoing discussion about how proper, I guess, XRP was built and for the purpose, and how Ripple is managing a lot of it. And Vitalik just deleted one of his tweets. XRP better sound money than Bitcoin. Turns out Vitalik, aka 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡, secretly wants to be XRP, but he's so shy he deleted his tweets, which is in this article stating that XRP is better sound money than Bitcoin. Now that I've outed him, he can be free to be he, she, or XRP. That's kind of funny. Whereas Bitcoin could be the perfect stable coin or store of value that's not, based one-to-one on a dollar. As again, the stability has showcased itself multiple times, and that could actually solidify. XRP serves a better purpose in terms of adoption, partnerships, etc., and is a lot faster, more efficient, etc., etc., etc. And if you guys did not know, Vitalik did try to be an internet Ripple, but the fact that his visa needed to be applied for, and Ripple was just pretty new, he couldn't get there. And it's actually interesting that even Justin's son was at Ripple before. It's just a little interesting dialogue. But here we go with something even more important than whatever I just showed you. But let's quickly just listen to this 50-second clip by David Schwartz, who is the CTO of Ripple and a co-creator of the XRP ledger, as he speaks about the next big wave and when it's happening for the XRP ledger.
I'm hoping that we're going to see, as real-world asset tokenization projects grow, I think the XRP ledger is going to be a really good platform for them to launch on, particularly because of the low fees and because of the integration with the DEX, with the proximity to sort of the movement of funds. The ability, if someone's going to buy, what do you want to do with a real-world tokenized asset? You want to buy it, you want to sell it, you want to hold it, you want to transfer it. And if you want to buy it and sell it, you want to be able to do that with whatever asset is convenient for you. You don't want to tie if you tokenize some sort of debt, like you don't want to tie it to US dollars because then that limits access to it to people who have sort of proximity to US dollars. One of the things the XRP ledger is good for is giving you sort of proximity to many different assets, and that exchange is seamlessly built in. So I think that's one of the many reasons why the XRP ledger is going to be a good place to launch tokenized real world assets. I think we'll see that in the next year, year and a half.
Cool. Yeah, and there's
It brings up a really interesting point, if the exchange is seamlessly built in such an interesting fashion, which I guess a lot of cryptocurrency or slash blockchains have, only XRP Ledger to have it also. Isn't that indeed the next big wave for real world assets where, again, you've got to have a middle layer, in this case you're the XRP Ledger, you have a ton of outlets, so basically the fiat corridors that XRP is connected through here. So if you want to buy, sell, transfer, whatever, you've got your gateways built out. And I'd say, since that's the main purpose for the XRP Ledger, I'd say one of the biggest purposes for XRP, to be connected to all these fiats, to be the middle of the middle, wouldn't that per definition then be the absolute best in terms of liquidity and in terms of where you want to place real world assets? I know a lot of people have speculated about this before, but realistically speaking, if one crypto focuses on all these corridors, all these connections, isn't that just like the best? I've been thinking about this for a while, and I can't really think of anything that would be better or that fits the purpose better than this. Because you got to realize, just tokenizing something is not necessarily the big deal. It's not actually that hard. It's about, why would somebody want to do that? What is the added benefit? Here, for example, like gold. The reason gold is not that useful to tokenize on there, for some perspective, is because it's something that's already highly liquid and that people can hold through so many providers and all these assets, sell and buy them, whatever. If you're talking about something like, for example, real estate, or some things a little bit less easy to transact than something as liquid as gold, well, here you've got the added benefit that every currency is tapped in, every single world part is tapped in, which otherwise would be a lot more difficult to do. If I've got these Pokemon cards, for example, in a specific place in the world, it's a lot less liquid and easy to basically spread that around the world in all these different currencies. Obviously, there are ways, and in theory, they could just tokenize it as an NFT on Ethereum, Polygon, whatever, but there you don't have the access to fiat as straight away. And again, I guess it's going to depend as well on how the XRP Ledger develops, as potentially through this integrated DEX is going to be the big thing. I mean, if you take a look at the XRP Ledger, I just asked a question about why this is 34 out of 35. I mean, when it says a validator is missing, right? Why exactly would that be? Why would it be down all this time? I didn't actually know that, but the most interesting part is just how much of what comes into a ledger here, basically, is to do with these offers that are created on the decentralized exchange for the XRP Ledger. It's just really peculiar how much is happening there that you don't really notice. Here, for example, as well, look at how many NFTs were just minted, and in the whole process here, actually, a lot of it is being done. Payments are actually, as of this point, a pretty small part of what happens time and time again on the XRP Ledger. And like I was just trying to say, it's only when you start to sit down and dive into what exactly is happening that you notice these things. Of course, I'm learning more about this every single day, as well as at the end of the day, I think it's rather important to be up to date with whatever is happening. And of course, to see the adoption, right? For example here, top 5 global banks are now on board to use XRP through 𝗲𝗏𝗲. It's not necessarily something new we're just hearing right now. Wall Street Bulls is making it sound as if this is the craziest thing that just happened. He says, major update for the XRP community. Top 5 global banks are now onboarded to use XRP through 𝗲𝗏𝗲. 𝗲𝗏𝗲's integration with Ripple's real-time payment networks is revolutionizing cross-border transactions. Don't just take my word for it. Check out the video proof attached. This isn't just news, this is a game changer. Stay up to date. And a lot of outlets are taking this in now, but realistically speaking, guys, if you look back a bit, Ripple partnered up with them a while ago. Here you can see 2018 August, 𝗲𝗏𝗲 Technologies launches accelerator for bank integration to Ripple's distributed financial technology. 2015 Ripple, yada yada yada. This partnership has been going on for a good while, and there's so much to it, man, and it just shows you how seamless a lot of these companies might be able to work together and change the entire freaking system while you're sitting on your ass eating chips. These guys are changing the freaking way that payments work around the world, which is really interesting. But also that, again, a lot of news gets rehashed, and the potential is way bigger than what we really know. It's like, it's kind of difficult to find out what is new, what's been there for years, because it all starts to blend together. We know they're changing the world. We don't know exactly which steps are being taken now, partially because the Ripple SEC lawsuit started, which put a lot of this progress on a little lower pit of fire, but also because they don't share everything straight away. Matter of fact, they don't share a lot of things they're doing, and we talked about this. Most of the adoption will only showcase itself the moment the next bull market arrives. I think a lot of announcements are going to come when things are already doing good, because you don't want to hype people up. You don't want to get exciting things out there. Also, from the business perspective on Ripple side, not just XRP, when you're not at the best period. You want to do this when things are already looking amazing. You're ready to onboard new clients. You're going to progress really hard. That's when you also want to share all these good things for like a little snowball effect, rather than sharing some good positive vibes in a negative time when nobody really cares. They want to most likely do it when the most amount of eyes are on crypto, because then you're maximizing marketing as well for every single announcement that you've got. But hey, that's just my theory.